The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. We are rolling through November. We are going back to, you're in Youngstown, Ohio. Is that right, Brian?
Correct.
Okay, back to Youngstown, Ohio. This is my third or fourth show there, and I guess I got quite a following down there. We got an athletic gentleman. He's an ultra marathoner. But before we get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters. Got a few, so read them off, and then on we go. So we have A1 Auto Unlimited in Wareham. All your auto needs now offering rust coat, car protection services. We have the Stonebridge Bar and Grill in Onset. We have Boombox Guns and Ammo in Middleborough. We have Comfort Upholstery in East Bridgewater. We have good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson on Route 58. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have Pal's Driving School in Middleborough setting up classes for February and April of 2025. Better get on that website. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham, open 6 days a week, all except Wednesdays, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They make DoorDash deliveries, and they have the best breakfast from Boston to the Cape. We have a new one, Tide and True, little curio shop in Onset. We have Scott Sensabar, licensed electrician. He's new as well. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have Uplifted Nutrition in Taunton. We have Hairway to Heaven Family Hair Salon in Norwell. We have DeVito Realty in Onset. They're new. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy there is always looking for new scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all. We have European Auto Sales in Whitman. We have the 1048 Bar and Grill in Randolph. We have Auto Clinic and Inspection in Rockland. We have Mimma's Cuban Cafe in Rockland. We have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. We have the Country Whip Sweet Shop in Acushnet. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Doggy Boutique, all breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Fitzy's Pub and Family Dining in Plainville. They're a new one. We have R.W. Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have Curtis Car Care in Middleborough. We have Haven Psychiatric Services right here in the building in room 211. We have the Auto Shop with Master Mechanic Ed Rooney in Hanover. We have Evan Young Realty. That's my brother, the realtor. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58. And we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. And I want to thank all you guys so much. And now Mr. Ryan Sheridan is in his gym there. Do you work there or do you own it, or both? I know you work.
I work here. I'm a personal trainer.
You're a personal trainer. And did they, it looks like you're all alone. Did you close the gym just for my show?
No, actually, we have a lot more clients during the day, and the gym is typically in the evening between 5 and 6, 5 and 7, rented out for spinning. And the lady who was doing it tonight actually isn't having a class.
Wow.
So I took advantage of it.
It's a very nice gym. I can see. I've worked out at several gyms myself. I work out at home now in the morning, and I like it better that way. The way I figure it now, gyms are great, but the way I figure it, gravity is free in your house. When you're buying the gym membership, you got to pay for it. So
right,
it works just as well no matter where you are. So
right.
But gyms are great. And if you're in I injured myself working out. We're not going to talk too much about me. We're going to talk about you. But I just want to relate an experience. Back in the 1980s, I injured my leg working out with free weights, and my orthopedic doctor told me if I'm going to not ruin my leg because of the hematoma that I caused, I need to work out at a gym that isolates the muscle so that I don't strain it. And so I did, and I found a gym, and since then I've worked out at several. But now I'm back home and being more careful not to drop 200 pounds on my right leg, which is what caused the injury back in those days when I was in my 20s. But now we're going to talk about you. So you're an ultra marathoner. You're a personal trainer. You're And
I'm certified in nutrition. I'm certified in personal training.
yep.
I'm an ultra marathoner. I know that's what got your attention. You saw somebody had reposted me.
Yes.
And I ran a 100-mile race last month.
Wow. 100 miles not stopping?
Well, I stopped to pee, or to get water.
Okay, still 100. Well, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me from where to where. Just I have that. First question: what was point A? What was point B?
Point A was Akron, Ohio, and you
Okay.
ran all the way to downtown Cleveland. You turned around at downtown Cleveland. You ran all the way back.
Wow. So Akron to Cleveland's 50 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, right there about. When you left Akron, you went left for 10 miles, and then you doubled back. So it was actually 40 miles. So you had 20.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, in order to run now, was this a race? I mean, did you run by yourself? What did you have?
Yeah, there was 250 runners.
Wow.
I think 143 finished.
Okay.
My goal has been, first, I wanted to actually complete a 100-mile race, which I did this year in July. I ran a race called Burning River.
Okay.
10 years ago, I went out and tried to do this race. And at mile like 43, I got disqualified. I had no business being there, really. I hadn't trained, I hadn't been running that long.
Right.
I had lost something like 145 pounds and quit smoking cigarettes just recently before that, and just started running. So it actually took me 10 years of I didn't really try for the goal, though, was the thing. I always thought about it. It was always in my mind. And this was the year where I said, I'm going to get it. I started training last November 16th.
Okay. Just about a year ago.
Yeah. Actually, and I tried a couple races throughout at the beginning of the year. I tried a 24-hour race that was a 1-mile loop. You can run it as many times as you could.
Wow.
I got to mile 66, kept training.
Not to be confused with Route 66, right?
No, not to be confused.
Okay.
Kept training. I tried another one that was 24 hours. I made it to 81 miles.
Wow.
And 2 months later, I went out, and the one that I did had something like 11,000 feet of elevation gain. It was uphill, downhill. Took me 28 hours and 31 minutes to finish it, of nonstop, just forward motion, whether it was hiking uphill or running downhill or just dragging myself along without energy.
Okay. Now, was this all outdoor stuff, obviously?
All outdoor. The one in July was actually all trails.
Yeah. All Ohio, or did you go out? I mean, what part did you go? Did you leave the state?
This was in Cuyahoga, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, Ohio has a lot of trails for running. I'm very fortunate. I live by Mill Creek Park, which is it's just a fantastic. I ran 8 miles there this afternoon.
Wow.
It's in it. You can run trails all day. There's a 15-mile loop I do.
Okay. What about work? But you look like you're very muscular. You must lift weights too regularly.
I do. Yeah, I lift weights. I do a lot of burpees.
What's that? Wait a minute. I've heard of that. What do they call those again? Burpees. Yeah. Please enlighten me. I've heard of those, and I don't know what they are. What are burpees?
So a burpee is when you, from standing position, you drop, you do a push-up, and then when you jump back up, you jump off the ground. That's one.
Okay.
And there's a variety of ways to do them. I honestly think they're one of the best exercises anybody can do. You can drop and do double push-ups, triple push-ups. You can do push-ups, and there's so many ways to do burpees that are harder and harder. That's a great full body workout. It's something like you were talking about working out at home, and it's one of my go-to exercises at home is pull-ups, and burpees.
Okay. I understand, but all right. Now, have you ever competed aside from ultra marathoning? Have you ever done a bodybuilding or weightlifting competition?
I have not. And I'm 44 years old, and at 32 years old, I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I was 340 pounds.
That's hard to believe. Looking at you now.
If you look on my Facebook, there's actually pictures.
I'm sure. Yeah,
my personal trainer page.
Like that guy Phil Albenzi. You're friends with him, aren't you? Yeah.
That's actually my Body by Phil shirt right here.
There you go. Okay, that's his right. Okay, he works out at that gym too, doesn't he?
Yeah, this is his gym.
This is his gym. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I hope he knows that you're doing the show with me tonight, because
he was one who said, it's
he set it up. I know he's the one who recommended you to me. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I mean, now what is your diet like though when it comes to you got to really you can't. I mean, you probably have a really slippery. I don't want to say slippery slope, but you have to be so good at balancing your carbs. You don't want to have too many because that's not good. But you got to have muscle food too that you're gonna have stamina food to keep you going for those long races. What do you
Right.
usually eat? I'm a vegan, by the way, but
Okay.
you probably,
And I'll tell you what, at races, you will see a lot of food specific for vegans. Whenever you do like long races, like ultra marathons, anything over 26 miles,
yeah.
you'll have aid stations. And I'm very fortunate. My family will come to these races that are 100 miles, and they'll actually drive 5 miles, 10 miles. They'll meet me ahead. And
Okay.
it's like a pit stop in NASCAR. You run in, you say, hey, listen, I need my hydration pack filled up. I want to change my socks, and I got to go pee real quick. And you get it all done as fast as possible, and you take off running again to the next
Wow.
aid station,
Okay.
and just try and make it.
Yeah. Are these all now when you do these runs, these aren't sprints though, not 100 miles.
No. In fact, in the last one I did, it took me 22 hours and 13 minutes.
Right.
My average, when it was all said and done, if you divided the 100 miles into my total time, ended up being 13 minutes a mile.
Wow. Well, okay, that's not what was the record? The 4 minute mile, Alan Bannister from
Yep, Roger Bannister.
Roger Bannister. Okay. It's been those were before my time too that he ran that. It was in like 1956, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great story, though. I use the story to inspire other runners where they don't believe they can do something, or even when you're training with people in the gym, when people don't believe they can do something, it's because they just haven't done it yet.
Right.
I had somebody,
but you still have to. I mean, if you're not in condition, you still have to work your way slowly.
right?
And I tell you, when I was a kid, I was a porker, and I get picked on every day in school for being fat and everything. So.
Yeah.
But and then in the early 1980s, you're 44, so you're probably born in like 1980, right? So right after that, in the early 80s, I became a vegetarian in 1982, and when I did, I lost inches on my. I mean, I was in my early 20s then. I lost a bunch of inches on my waistline, and I was working out, and I toned up pretty good.
Yeah.
I never looked back, and here it is, 42 years later, and I'll always be a vegan, and I'm 65, and I feel pretty. Never felt better. I mean, it's so I know what it's like to turnabout and everything.
Right.
And by the way, have you ever done any marathons outside of Ohio? Have you ever done the Boston Marathon?
I've actually climbed Kilimanjaro twice in Africa.
Wow.
Just like a side thing. I went to Spain one time and ran with the bulls. That was intense.
Okay.
I have run marathons all over the United States. I ran a marathon in Ireland.
Okay.
I ran the marathon in Greece one year, which would kind of be like the first marathon. I think it was from Athens to Pamplona, something like that. I can't remember the two distances or the two locations where we ran to, but supposedly the very first marathon. I've run all over. I've run 58 Tough Mudders. I've run World's Toughest Mudder twice, which is a 24-hour obstacle race.
Wow.
I've done the Spartan Ultra Beast in Hawaii, which is like a 35-mile jungle race with obstacles twice.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I started running, first of all, I quit smoking. I kind of had a tragic thing happen where it was a life-changing experience, and I lost a whole lot of weight really fast.
Yep. That was a good thing, though, right? You were healthy.
It did end up being a really good thing. And that's the thing a lot of people don't realize when tragedy happens, it's an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
That's right.
I did. My little brother came to me, and he was a bodybuilder. He's in the military, and he said, you look terrible. You should come to the gym with me. So I did. I started lifting with him.
Okay.
And he took me to the park hiking. And from hiking, I said, maybe I'll try a little bit of this running. And once I clipped over 5 miles, he said, I don't do this. He said, I don't run more than 5 miles. You're on your own.
You felt that you achieved something you'd never done before. And then that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And it progressed. I started looking around, and, I always tell people you don't know how far you can go unless you're really willing to go too far.
Okay.
And that's like, even now, I did the 100-mile race. I found one in Georgia that's 150 miles. I found one in California that I really want to do. It's in Death Valley. It's 135 miles.
Death Valley, but it's so hot there.
And it's in July. It's 100.
Yeah, it's in July. Wow. Are you a cyborg or something? My goodness.
I mean, the idea of, can you do it? Like earlier this year, I had people said, you've tried to run 100 miles twice this year. Maybe you just can't run 100 miles. And the first step.
That dared you to make it happen, right?
I'll tell you, the most motivational speech you can get is somebody telling you can't do it.
Yeah.
But also the fact, like anything you want to do in life, from athletics to losing weight to just anything, the first step is believing you can do it. And I truly believe that people are capable of incredible things. And I personally want to see what I'm capable of. I know now I can run 100 miles, and so I want to see what the next distance is.
Do you have a big family, wife, kids, and all that?
I have 5 kids, 2 granddaughters.
Wow. That's amazing. You got all time for that with all the stuff you're doing after
Well,
that.
my kids are all older now. Like one's 25,
Oh,
one's
yeah.
26, one's 27. Like my one son's a senior. He don't really like to hang out too much. My 15-year-old, actually, he started training with me in June. He was 232 pounds.
Wow.
And yesterday he was 171.
Sweet. Well, on that note, we're going to watch a little video of Ryan's ultra marathon. We'll be right back to talk about it. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Nice job! Good job!
Applause for our next 100-miler crossing the finish line, Ryan Sheridan from Youngstown, Ohio. Congratulations.
All right, that was great. Tell us about what we just watched, that video.
So the videos that you're seeing, those are just of me finishing the 100-mile races.
Okay.
The one video where I come across the finish line, the first one, I think there's something on either side of me that says the name of the race.
Okay.
I spent hours before that finish thinking when I come across the finish line, I'm going to do double guns in the air or something cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was ready to cry my eyes out.
Well, I know you were tired, obviously.
Yeah. The
Wow.
exhaustion, like mentally, the mental exhaustion beyond the physical exhaustion was incredible.
But you thrive on that when you're doing this. You thrive on that. Now, is it?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
whole life is basically physical training, right? You don't do anything else. That's it, right? Pretty much.
Well, I mean, I do have a life outside of physical training.
Well, all right, but I'm wondering. All right, well, I'm just curious. I mean, have you ever done any how about like fitness modeling or anything like that? You ever done that?
I haven't, and I have gotten lean enough at times where I probably could have. And
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like you definitely could have.
I was just talking this year about maybe doing because I've never done it before, maybe trying to do some type of.
I'm not going to say you can't do it because
Right.
I mean, all right, maybe I'd say you can't do it, and now you'll do it.
And I'd have to do it.
Right, then you have to do it, right? Right. Okay. Yeah. What about you? What about other sports? Do you play sports like football, baseball, basketball?
When growing up as a kid, I was really fortunate. We had between 2 streets, there had to have been 30 kids. We could have 2 full baseball teams playing at one time, all of us riding our bicycles up.
Yeah.
I wrestled for 5 years. I played a little bit of football here and there, but honestly, when I was in school, I was fat.
Yeah, I know.
My weight fluctuated.
Fat kids playing football.
Yeah.
But you just did it. Just didn't work for you because
Just didn't work.
Didn't work. How much do you weigh? I'm just curious.
Today I was 197.
197. Yeah, I figured you were close to 2, but not over in the range. Very solid too. I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever had your how like are you a fan of sports? I figured being in Ohio, you probably are.
Yeah, I mean we got the Browns.
You got the Browns and you got the Cavaliers. They won the
Cavaliers.
Yeah, and the Indians who came close. The Guardians. I'm sorry.
The Guardians, right?
Right.
Yeah, they'll always be the Indians.
What I'm getting at is that I remember. I mean, I'm a big sports fan, and I remember the Los Angeles Lakers. When they were in I think it was like the early '90s or late '80s, early '90s. They were all going out. They had their body fat content measured, and they were all under 8%. I'm guessing you're probably in that range too. I don't know if you know it, but there's ways.
I know that when you look at the BMI based on what the numbers are, I'm actually obese, but it's because it doesn't.
Really?
It doesn't.
Yeah, I know why. Because the old Metropolitan Life charts in the 50s tell you that if you're a certain height, you can only be
right.
But that's nothing. But then the content of your body makes a big difference. If you're, it's not obese means when you have too much body fat on you. But if you know your percentage, then you can say, well, this says that, but this shows otherwise. You know what I mean?
And I've actually never had my BMI done, although looking at it on the charts, like online, I'm 6'1", I'm 44 years old. I should be 183 pounds would be my ideal weight. And most of the time I'm more than 20 pounds over that, but then.
That's muscle though. Muscle weighs more than fat. So that's probably
right.
As a kid myself, I always wondered, I said to myself, I was 200 pounds when I was 14. And looking at me now, I'm only like 142 now, if that.
Right.
you know, but like it's the vegan diet. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so, I mean, I mean, believe me, I was pretty frustrated for so long that that I would never be able to maintain a body. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to go shirtless anytime. I
Yeah.
send pics to girls all the time. Shirtless, nothing. I would never show anything other than that because you never know what could end up on.
Anymore.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
they tell me I look good. So, and when the weather's warm, I go out shirtless too. I don't care. I mean, so
And I'll tell you, when it comes to diets, like you're talking about, you didn't go so much do a diet as you just had a lifestyle change. And a lot
Right.
of times that's what I try and press upon my clients is like a diet is a temporary thing. People do a diet, they get to where they think they should be, and then they quit doing the diet.
yes,
And go all the
exactly.
way
You got to
back.
find a diet that's going to keep you going for life and keep you happy and healthy. Yeah.
And if you watch my personal trainer Facebook page, like this morning, I got up and I made sugar-free chocolate peanut butter donuts. Believe it or not, and
Wow.
they're made
Yeah, I'm
with
sure they're very low in fat.
very low in fat.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
sugar.
They're high in protein, which is what you need. Peanut butter has protein, right? So,
Right.
and you
Right.
need protein for what you do. Obviously, you all do. But I mean, especially if you're personal training and working out and stuff.
Right.
Well,
And I try and post all my recipes so people can follow on them because there is a lifestyle change to where, okay, I want to eat a donut, and there are healthy donuts, there are healthy muffins, there are healthy alternatives that people
Okay.
just need to find, and a lot of it's just being willing to cook for a little bit.
I know. I make my own food every day. Now, have you ever written a cookbook, or would you ever consider doing that?
I have definitely considered writing a cookbook. Yeah,
But you haven't done it yet. No, you can't do it. Now you'll do it, right?
Now I'll have to do
Yeah,
it.
you'll have to, right? Yeah, I mean, I bet you'd be great. So, what kind of the people? I'm just curious about your clientele. Do you train a lot of other athletes that are that are big in like boxers or people that do athletics in your neighborhood or in your area, or you just people obviously that just want to get in shape and just
Right. I
healthy?
would say the bulk of my clientele personally is people trying to get in better shape, people trying to lose weight,
Okay.
and just looking to make that change in their life.
Okay, yeah, I figured that. I mean, I'm just wondering if I mean, looking at you as a personal trainer, I'm thinking maybe they're pro athletes that you train.
Yeah, we have a couple boxers that come through the gym. Nobody that I train personally,
Okay.
but yeah, it's mainly just local people. And our gym is nice
Doesn't
because
Bobo Mancini live down there?
he does live down. Yeah, boom, boom. Yeah.
Is he one of you? Does he come to the gym? Does he
I
get?
have never seen him here.
Never
no.
seen him there. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, and he's
We
still.
got a picture of him though on the wall.
Yeah. Okay, it must be over there. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he must. I mean, he's been around so long too. He's got to be in his 60s by now, I think.
Yeah, he's
Close. Because he was, he must be, because in 1982 when he was active then, and now that's 42 years ago. So he's probably close. He's got to be late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, I would think.
All right. Well, what is your what is your everyday? We got independent of your races. What does your daily routine consist of? Pretty much, just by and large, just ballpark it. No pun intended.
My daily routine, like everybody, I go to work. One nice thing with my job is like I can schedule people so that I can accomplish other goals.
Right.
Like I just finished the nutritionist certification. That was something I didn't have, but I wanted to do. It was 18 tests.
Okay.
And then a final 110. So, in my spare time, I would do that. I try and schedule in my running, which ultimately I spend anywhere from 30 to 40 miles a week out on the trails running.
Okay.
Conditioning myself because there are bigger races I want to do. I cook a lot. Cooking is one of my hobbies.
Right.
My girlfriend loves my cooking.
Not just your hobbies. It's because it keeps you, sustains you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really enjoy it. And I think that's one thing that's nice about it is like planning our meals, planning her meals, like her lunches and everything.
Right.
That's something I look forward to doing every day.
Well, I guess it is. Okay.
Yeah,
So your job is just being a personal trainer, right?
Right.
Pretty much your full-time job. Wow. Okay. So
Fun job. Yeah.
it's a great job. And so how do you reach out to people to get them as reel them in as clients?
I've run ads on Facebook. In fact, lately I've been having one that goes off and on.
Okay.
Word of mouth is very handy.
Yep.
Handing out cards, just meeting people in passing,
Okay, right. Handing out cards, of course.
And I think a lot in any business is being able to sell yourself. Like
Sure.
anybody can come up and say, "Hey, I'm in pretty good shape. Do you want to? Maybe I can."
Oh, but then you prove it. You look like you're in good shape. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody looks at you and says this guy can't be a personal trainer, but look at you the way you look. I mean, I looked at you when you just came on the screen, and I said, if I wanted a personal trainer, this is the guy I'd go to see. You know,
Right.
you look like a pro. You got it's on. With everything, you look
I,
like you're geared for it for sure.
honestly, I think part of like what helps me want to stay in shape is I want people to want me to help them.
Of course,
And they're not going to want my help if it doesn't look like I'm applying the things I'm teaching them in my own life.
you got it right. You got to practice what you preach.
Exactly.
Okay, you got grandchildren too. How old are your grandchildren?
They are 3 and 5. I got
Yeah. I figure they got to be pretty young. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got quite a busy life now. Thanksgiving's coming. I assume you're not going to be stuffing yourself like majority of America, are you? Or what are you going to?
Well, I'm sure that I will be indulging.
Oh, you
You
will.
know?
Okay, so you do you do allow yourself a cheat day every now and then.
I mean, I don't like to say a cheat day so
I know,
much.
I know what you mean, but
Yeah, people
you're a
look
little
at
looser
that.
than.
If I see something and I want to eat it, I know I have to earn it. And that's what I try and remind myself. Like, if I want to eat that, I need to earn it. So there's going to be some extra miles this week. There's going to be some extra gym time this week. And I'm going to think about what I ate that I shouldn't eat while I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. So basically, all right. So it's tit for tat.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Ryan, we're under 5 minutes. I hope you had fun talking to me.
I did. That was a great time, man. Thanks for having me.
Just so you know, I want you to know something. I made a 50-year plan back in that. Now, I used to actually go for 10-mile runs. I never did a marathon, but I made myself sick doing that. I overdid it. I believe it or not, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm somebody that cheated death a bunch of times. I had pneumonia. I almost died when I was 44, like when I was your age. And but I made some lifestyle changes because I used to binge eat and then run 10 miles to try and burn it off. But I have asthma, so when you do that and you have asthma, you cause acid reflux to go into the lungs and it exacerbates it. And it blew into full pneumonia back in early 2004. So now I don't binge eat anymore. I eat till I'm I don't do 10-mile runs. But in 1995. I did say to myself, 50 years from now in 2045, when I'll be 85 and a half, I'm going to do the Boston Marathon, and I'm still going to do it. Now that plan is more than halfway to fruition because it was a 50-year plan back in 1995. Now I only have 20 years next spring. So, and so it's something that's pretty cool. You plan something 50 years to do, and then do it 50 years later, which is what it will be when I do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I still have to be alive and I still have to be healthy. So as long as I can keep that up for the next 20 and a half years, I'll be good to go.
Right.
So I thought
see 85-year-old people running races. It's doable. You can definitely do it, and you already believe you can, so you're going to get it.
Johnny Kelly was the 97-year-old Boston Marathon. He did it over 85. He passed away, but he lived to be 97, and he ran. Right. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Johnny Kelly.
Yep.
All right. Look, if you had a good time with me, what I want you to do is you got my number, give it to anybody you think might be a good guest for me. I'll get them on either in person or by Zoom, preferably in person.
Okay.
And then what I want you to do now is give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show, and then we'll wrap it up with my snap and the way we began it. Just condense them.
Okay.
Family, whatever, girlfriend, everybody.
Of course, a shout out to all my kids. Sierra, Brittany, Jeff, Sean. I hope you get to check it out. Ashley, my girlfriend Jamie, my friend Deanna, my friend Greg, my friend Naomi. I hope you guys all get to check the show out.
Well, I'll get to check it out. Don't worry about that. Once we edit it, we'll share it with the world. And there's no stopping us. My motto is when it comes to my show, I'm as passionate about topic time as you are about what you do. So, all right, now we're going to wrap the show up. I have one favor to ask. Will you stick around in my tech guy? I'll take a pic for Facebook and I'll tag you in it, and you can tag me if you want.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, folks, we're wrapping up another great episode of Topic Time. See you next time with another great guest rolling off and snapping out. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young.